Hey guys, it's John from Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we are going to talk about something pretty simple. We're going to talk about the difference between pressurized and non-pressurized portafilters or portafilter baskets. Now I know this seems like a really simple topic, but just remember that everybody is at their own level of knowledge when it comes to coffee, and so we thought this would be a helpful video to have if you're choosing your first espresso machine and you just want to know some of the basics for what you need to know. All right guys, why don't we get started? So right here I have an example of the two different styles of baskets. And if you look here, they both look the exact same. They have the exact same amount of holes here. But then if we flip them over, here we can start to see some of the difference. So if you look at this one here, this is the non-pressurized basket. This has pretty much the same amount of holes as it does on both sides. Whereas with this one, you have way less holes inside, and sometimes these are referred to as a dual wall. It actually says that right here. Basically, there's this right here with all these holes in it, and then there's another piece of metal right here. That's the second wall, and then you have just this right here. This is great if you need to use pre-ground coffee. Now some of you are going to say that's a sin, but sometimes you just don't have a grinder and you need to use pre-ground. That's what this is going to be for, because coffee that is not freshly ground or ground fine enough, if you don't have a grinder that is capable of grinding fine enough for espresso, this is what you'll be using as well. The basket can't rely on the coffee to build up enough pressure to get the correct time for an extraction. Because with coffee, basically, the longer the water is in contact with the coffee, the more it's extracting. And basically all this is doing, this dual wall basket, is it's allowing that water to have more contact time with the coffee so you can get a fuller flavored shot of espresso without having to grind super fine. Now you're not going to have nearly as much control with a pressurized or dual wall basket, just because you're not relying on the coffee to build up pressure, you're relying on the basket. So you're going to get pretty much the same tasting shot unless you either extract for longer or extract for shorter. I hope that all makes sense, but we're going to go ahead and jump in and do just some quick demonstrations about the difference between the two of these. I'm going to start with this dual wall pressurized one. So I have my Breville portafilter here. I'm just going to pop this in. And then today we're going to be using what I know a lot of people are using for pre-ground coffee, and that's this Lavazza. This is ground pretty fine, pretty close to espresso, not quite fine enough for using a non-pressurized portafilter, and it is not freshly ground, so you could not use it in a non-pressurized basket or portafilter. I'm going to use about 16 grams of coffee. Comes out to almost 2 scoops. All right, that looks good there. You don't have to worry about being perfectly precise with your tamp or anything like that when it comes to using pre-ground coffee in a pressurized basket, which is why it is so nice. So while you are giving up control and you're giving up some of that flavor or depth of flavor that you can achieve with a non-pressurized, it is nice not to have to worry about any of that. So let's go ahead and give this a test run here. So this is in a pre-infusion stage right now, and now it's just starting to drip out. And I am in a second going to show you guys the difference between using that exact same amount of coffee in this basket, and you can kind of see how it looks. So I want you guys to take note that this looks like an actual shot of espresso. This has good crema on it, it has nice thickness to it, and it's right about an ounce, right around there. So it looks like a shot of espresso. This would taste like espresso. Might taste a little bit muddy if you're used to something from a non-pressurized basket. but it's a great starting point if you're just getting into espresso. All right, now we're going to try that same pre-ground coffee in this portafilter, or this basket. This is the non-pressurized. All right, right around 16. And let's give it a whirl and see what you get. Let's see here. So already we can tell that's a lot more violent than we were getting before. And if we just look at these two shots, even though this one's been sitting for a while, compare them side by side there, this one still has more crema on it. It looks more like an espresso shot. Crema is a byproduct of pressure in that basket. And so because there's not as much pressure in this basket here, obviously we have less crema compared to this one. I hope that makes sense. But now, just for fun, we're going to try a non-pressurized and pressurized basket with some fresh ground coffee. I'll be back in a second. I got to get some things set, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, welcome back. I got everything set here. This grinder is now set to grind for espresso. We're going to be using about the same amount of coffee that we used last time, the 16 grams. Instead, this time we are actually going to start with the non-pressurized basket, have the pressurized one here, and we're going to grind just right into here. I'm going to check my weight first. In case I failed to mention this earlier, we are using the Breville infuser again, and then also the Smart Grinder Pro. I have this set on setting number 12, in case you're wondering. It's actually a little bit over. That looks better. All right. And let's give this a pull. All right, so we're pulling that shot now. And in case I forgot to mention earlier, this is the Breville infuser here, and this is the Breville Smart Pro grinder. Already we can see that this is taking a little bit longer to come out than it did previously when we were using the non-pressurized basket with the pre-ground coffee. Set that off to the side. And I'm going to swap this over for that pressurized. Check my weight. In case you were wondering, this one is about 7 grams heavier. Make sure to rinse this. All right, let's check that. That is close enough. All right, let's see what happens here. This is a handy little feature. This basically just pops up when that drip tray is getting full, so you know it's time to empty it. And that is interesting. That is coming out faster than it was in the pressurized by quite a bit. And now let's compare these side by side. This one has been sitting for just a second here, but what's interesting with the pressurized baskets is you usually get more crema integrated in there, whereas the non-pressurized usually comes out quite a bit separate. There's still some integration in these, but there's usually more that I notice in the pressurized baskets. I hope that was a good video for you guys. I hope you learned something about using pressurized and non-pressurized baskets, and that this helps to educate you on which one is best for you at this point. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this, and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.